This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Forged Irish Stout and Empire Fight Store. It gives me great pleasure. A man that I go back a long way with in the sport of boxing. How are you, my bro?
Thank you, bro. All good, all good. Same old. I'm in camp, so I'm just training hard, dieting, doing what I've done 1,000 times.
Let's talk a little bit about it. Obviously, it wasn't to be last weekend, but you've got yourself a rescheduled date early in
Yeah.
the new year in Las Vegas, 6th of Jan. Just how excited are you? I saw
Uh,
you put the post up and say like, look, we're just happy to have this sort of resolved and sorted so quickly.
I'm super happy. I'm very glad. It was very unfortunate that it didn't happen last weekend. On December 2nd, I was in shape. I've been dieting. I've been in camp for a hell of a long time, and it's been delayed by 5 weeks, which ain't too bad. Things could always be worse. And I'm glad that I get to go back out to Vegas now. The best city in the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Come on, I had to make my US debut out there, so I'm very pleased.
Let's talk sort of a little bit about dealing with the postponement, I suppose, because we know that fighters they train and then they want to peak at a certain point, and obviously you've had to then I don't know, do you give yourself a couple of days to sort of just enjoy and then go back into it, or how does it sort of work from your side?
Most times, most fighters they have a day off or they have a few days off, eat some shit. With me, I had the Nando's once. I had the Nando's and I had a Chinese, both on the same day. I had a Chinese, I had a Nando's,
You
and then the
indulge.
next day, I was just back in the gym. The gym's what I do. The gym's literally is my life. If I have a day off, I get bored. I'm at home doing what? I sit down, I play the PS5. Yeah, I read, I'm learning a new language and I do that and it's like, now what? I don't really go out, I don't club, I don't party and I don't do that stuff. So all I do is just go gym. That's what I have fun with. Like that's what I do for fun. I go to the gym. So I peaked, yes. Then I had to take it down a bit. Whereas I'm in the gym now, but I'm not going. I took it a bit lighter. I had a few lighter days, a few technical days. On my sprints, I wasn't doing what I would do. If I'm deep in camp, I took it down a few notches. So I've been doing it for years, so I know how to do it.
Was it tough mentally to deal with the postponement, or because they sort of had their stuff together and got you the new date so quickly, you sort of were quite easy because you knew that
It
it
would
wasn't
have been
going to be pushed back to sort of a time you didn't know?
it would have been mentally tough if I didn't get a new date straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
But as
yeah.
soon as we got cancelled, like the next, like that day, I was on his case. Within 24 hours, he got back to me and he had a new date. He was like, "Look, I get shit done."
Lee
And
did. I was just going to say, Lee put that tweet out saying what a pleasure it was in dealing with Golden Boy and how quickly they
yeah,
resolved the situation and gave you the new date. Do you reiterate the same thing?
I do 100%. I do 100%. Thank you to Lee Eaton and to Golden Boy. They both done a good job. Things didn't go to plan, but things could always be worse. And if I didn't have such a good team, things would probably be worse. So only 5 weeks later, and it's in a better city. I'd rather fight in, I would rather fight in Vegas than fight in Texas. So Vegas is where it's at.
Take the positives where you can. Well, let's talk the fight.
Definitely.
You fight Barroso, obviously last time out, not to be against Rolly Romero, but we know a lot of question marks sort of surrounding that. He looked like he was sort of doing very well in that fight. You know, we've seen the clip a million times over. We don't really need to go over that as such. But what do you think he brings to the ring against you? And is it anything you've not dealt with before?
Against Rolly, Ismael Barroso was up. He got robbed. Everyone that saw the fight was like, it's the biggest robbery I've seen in boxing. And for me to see that, to see such a robbery like that on that level, it was mad to see because most times it happens on a small level where there's not really any eyes watching. This one, the whole world was watching it. The referee said, I don't give a fuck. He said, I'm gonna rob that motherfucker. He ain't winning this fight. And yeah, Ismael Barroso, he's a good fighter. Yeah, listen, I was there when he fought Kevin Mitchell. He stopped Kev many years ago. Obviously, it's when he was a lot younger. Now he's a lot older. So some of the attributes that he would have had back then, he hasn't got now. But what he's got now, he's got much more experience now, and he's had to adjust his game plan to his physical because now he's a lot older. So there's certain stuff that he can't do. So he's had to adapt and to do it, but in a different way. And that's what the experience that he's got is going to help him with. But mate, I'm young, I'm fresh. Come on, I'm young, fresh, I'm OD, I hit hard, I'm sharp, I've got the speed, and the main thing is that I'm focused now. So to be honest, it don't matter what Ismael Barroso comes up against me. I don't see anything but a stoppage win for me.
Do you believe that sort of, I mean, you talk about getting the stoppage win. Do you believe that you're going to go and put on a show and a statement to the US fans?
I believe I'm gonna put on a show, 100%. I ain't working this hard for no reason. And listen, whenever I've worked this hard, people always end up getting stopped. And I've been doubted many times in my boxing career. I've been doubted many, many times. It's done nothing but make me hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. And now I'm like a hungry lion that ain't eaten in like 5 days. I'm looking for some food. If my brother looks like food to me.
What's your thoughts on Rolly Romero? We know that he obviously won the WBA strap, and then there was talks that he was like champion in recess, and then they were waiting on medical forms. And like, I know that you called for that fight. You were very vocal about it, and sort of like wasted a lot of
Rolly's a
energy
punk.
on. Yeah,
Rolly's a punk. He's a pussy and he's a punk. Okay. He won the world title, which he shouldn't have really won. It got gifted to him. What you do next? Defend it against the next in line. So what happened is that the purse bids, he got called for a certain date. So what they done is that they waited until the last day, the last purse bids day, which was fucking 6 weeks after it got called, about 5 or 6 weeks after it got called. The day before it was actually meant to be, WBA got a phone call. Rolly's injured. So what they done is that they tried to waste as much time as they could, hoping that I get fed up and I say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go down a different route. I said, nah, I'm waiting right here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm waiting right here. This takes 6 months, 7 months, 10 months. I'm waiting right here. So now the WBA said that I've got to fight Ismael Barroso for the WBA interim world title, which I don't think is fair. It's not fair for me because I'm managing for the world title. Now I've got to fight for the interim title against someone else. But for Ismael Barroso, I believe that it could be justice in a way, whereas he got robbed the first time, and now and now he's got a second chance. So for Ismael Barroso, I feel very happy for him that he's got a second chance and he gets another payday. It's just it's just very unfortunate that it's against me,
do you
but
think they should have
at
done
least
it
he gets
for
a
the?
second chance, and at least he's got a second chance and a second payday.
Do you think rather than the interim belt, they should have just done it for the vacant?
Oh, 100%, because we all know that Rolly's not injured. So this fight should have been for the world title. But listen, to be honest, me, I don't really mind. I'm in a very thankful phase in life right now, and I was under the bus a couple of years ago. Everyone thought I was done. My boxing career could have easily been done. Um, I used to go out. People say, "Are you still fighting? Are you retired? What's going on?" Because I wasn't active. I wasn't making no noise. A lot of politics. Um, listen, a lot of stuff happened, and my boxing career was on a rocky path, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm just thankful that I'm still boxing today. I'm still having the opportunity, and now I'm in the biggest stage that I've ever been on. And I've seen many fighters come and go. I've seen many fighters come and go, and I'm still here. I'm very thankful, whether it's for the WBA world title or for the WBA interim. It don't matter to me. I'm just happy to be here. Lee, on the other hand, Lee was very angry. Lee phoned me like Lee was angry, and I was like, "Nah, Lee, I, listen, I'm happy. I'm thankful." Lee was like, "Yeah, but which is actually true. But me, I'm content."
Do you think the Rolly Romero fight ever happens?
Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Depends on where his mind's at. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. Really, like this confuses me. He's online saying one thing and then he's saying another thing, and you know, he's he's not in the gym. He's not in the gym yet. To this day,
Hmm.
he's not in the gym. and the WBA had given him until I think the 30th of March to defend against the one that wins my next fight. It would have been easier for me if it was on the 2nd of December. So then, once I win, I've got more time to, to have fun and then to train and then to prepare. But I fight on the 6th of January. I've only got 10 weeks or so, which is okay because I fight on the 6th of January. I have 2 or 3 days off and I get right back in the gym for camp. I've got a world title to win. The holidays and the party and the burgers and the chips and the milkshakes and the apple crumbles and all that stuff can wait.
Ryan Garcia had an
Mhm.
interesting week last week. He was victorious. More sort of out of the press conference, we saw that I think almost like you'll be a fan of it just because of like the way that you like to promote and stuff like that. But it was very interesting between him and Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins. What did you make of it all?
Him going against his own boxing promoter, it's not something that I would do. These are people that you want to have on your side. All of these powerful people sat in high places are people that you really want on your side as a fighter. This is just what I think. But Ryan feels that he's been done wrong. I don't know what the argument was about. I know that he feels some way or what. I don't know what. But I just feel like I feel like these are people that he should have on his side because they've turned him into a big star. Yes, he's had to fight and he's had to win the fights. But Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, these are the guys that gave him that platform that he's got. And if you don't want to be there, then why'd you sign to them in the first place? Don't sign to me and then after a couple of years start saying this and that about me. Yes, they made £6 million from me, blah blah blah. He made money from them too. It's not one way. It works both ways. It's how business works, both ways. Everyone eats, everyone earns. But there might be some other things that I don't know about, so I can't really comment on it. But but what he done is not something that I would do. My boxing promoter is someone that I'd want on my side, and if I have an issue, if I've got any issues, I'll phone him in private and I'll discuss it privately. I won't go in a conference in front of millions and try to be, yes, I'm taking a stand for us. Like, nah, none of that shit. None of that shit.
Do you believe a fight with yourself and Ryan Garcia ever happens now you're with Golden Boy? Surely that's one that you're gunning for.
Uh,
And also, how
it
does
could
that
happen, yes.
work out?
It could happen, yes. So long as I come through this next fight on the 6th of January, depending on what Rolly does, if he chooses to vacate the belt, if you get stripped, I'll be made world champion, and then I've got the belt. I can choose anyone that I want to fight, and everyone's going to want to fight me once I got the belt.
Is that a
So,
fight that interests you?
yeah, of course, it's not only Ryan Garcia though. They got so many big names.
Yeah.
They got so many other fighters and so many other opportunities, and you know, the Ryan Garcia fight is probably the most likely fight to happen because I'm signed to Golden Boy now, and he's signed to them, so it'll be the easiest fight to happen, and that will most probably be the fight that will happen, but it all depends. But that's a fight that is looking very likely every day. Every day, it's looking more and more likely.
How does that fight go, Ode?
Oh, I win, mate. You asked me maybe if it was me 4 years ago when I weren't focused, I'd say me, but I won't really believe it in my heart. But when I'm focused, the way that I am now, I think I've got it in me to be the best at this weight class. I have it in me to be the best. And that's not me saying I'm better than everyone else now. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I have it in me to be the best. And what I want, I'd want to challenge myself against those that also think that they're the best. And there's only one way to find out who's the real best at this weight class. And it all starts on the 6th of January. I've got to take out Ismael Barroso in good fashion. I've got to make it look easy. And then bang, I want the Ryan Garcia fight next.
Would you make a
Because, huh?
Teofimo? Would you make a Teofimo Lopez just sort of not really fighting anyone and not having any dates planned and pricing himself out? And
I don't know, but one thing I know about him is that he's a good fighter.
oh,
He fought Taylor in his last fight and he dealt with him in good fashion. The George Kambosos loss, yeah, I think he just went focus for that camp.
oh.
He beat Lomachenko. when Lomachenko was unbeaten, undefeated, feared, no one wanted to fight him. Lopez come out and said, "Listen, I can take this guy," and I don't think anyone believed in him, but he believed in himself, and you know what? And he's a world champion, and he deserves to be a world champion. We just like to see him more active because our boxing careers are so short, and the years go like that, the years pass by like that, and it's very important that we stay active, that we stay fighting every few months. But as far as I know, I think Teofimo Lopez, I think he's fought 3 fights in 1 year. So he might just be having a few months off, which is okay, understandable, because he did fight 3 times in a year. So now that I'm thinking about that, it just,
All right, let me ask you two more from me then. Taylor
Mhm.
Catch, if they have a rematch, which is sort of being spoke about, we don't really know, but how does that one go?
I think depends on what Taylor turns up. If it's Taylor that fought him the first time turns up, then maybe Catterall. If the Taylor that I know, if the Taylor that I fought turns up, then Taylor stops him 100%. But listen, one thing that I've seen about Josh is that after becoming undisputed, he's won it all. He won every belt in a weight class. The guy achieved it all. And sometimes the motivation and the ambition isn't the same. And the hunger, it just isn't the same. And I think that's what we've seen. I think that's what we've seen. Maybe if he goes up a weight class, which he's done, it might do him some good. But if not, then like then sometimes it's just the age. Sometimes he just aged, or sometimes maybe the lifestyle he's lived could be um could be a certain reason as to why he ain't the same fighter that he was. Or maybe he just achieved it all. He won every belt in boxing, and people still want him to be like the same way that he was when he was hungry, when he didn't have anything. Like the time when he fought me, I was more known than him. I was bigger than him. I was the favorite, I believe. And that was when he was up and coming and he was hungry and he wanted it. But mate, I bet you now the guy sleeps in silk sheets now. I bet he drives whatever car he wants. I bet he lives a good life. Getting up in the morning ain't so easy. And to motivate yourself ain't so easy. And yeah, as boxing fans, a lot of time, these fans don't really understand that. Fans think that fighter's going to keep the same hunger for his whole boxing career. No, they're not. Just look at Floyd in his first few fights. He was going in there knocking everyone out, and then towards the end of his boxing career, like it's about the money. He found a new motivation, whereas other fighters they don't find a new motivation. They haven't got any motivation. It's box because I've been boxing all these years. They got no motivation really. They don't care about the money. They don't care about being rich. They've achieved what they wanted in boxing, become a world champion. He's won every belt, undisputed. Come on, you got to clap to him.
What's that?
I've got to clap to him, to Josh Taylor. The guy's won it all.
Finally from me then, I feel like I'm gonna get a funny response out of you for this one. Tony Bellew is second favourite to win I'm a Celebrity. What's your thought? Have you watched any of it?
Nah, to be honest, I haven't. To be honest, I haven't watched it, but I don't know what he's doing in there. But I've got nothing against him. Tony Bellew is someone that I've always looked up to as a fighter. It's just that he doesn't like me for whatever reasons. Um, but listen, I've got nothing against him. But nothing against him. He just comes online and says bad things about me for what reason I don't know. But I've got bigger things to worry about. I've got a hard fight coming up soon. Tony Bellew's still acting like he's a fighter. Right? He's not a fighter. Your boxing career is done. You're done. Enjoy your retirement. You ain't got to keep having an ego and going after fighters and arguing with everyone over Twitter and arguing with this person. And he's got such an ego. Why don't you be like these other fighters? They box, they retire, and then there's just no ego. I look at George Groves now. I look at George Groves. The guy don't go online arguing with everyone, blah 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 blah, arguing with everyone. James Aguel, he's not online arguing with anyone. All of these people, they know I box, I retired. Now I'm a normal person. I'm living my normal life. Come on. Let me leave that shit in the past. Tony Belly's someone who can't leave it in the past. But I've got nothing against him. He's achieved more uh than I have in boxing. So I can say nothing about him. in that sense. But as a person, as a person, I think he's just no good I think he's just no good. He's just no good of a person. He's someone that I wouldn't want to be friends with. Not in this lifetime, not in any lifetime. Keep me away from that guy. Because you see people like him, they're just no good. They got really bad energy.
Well, OD, thank you for speaking to us at Boxing Social. A real pleasure to catch up again. Certainly been a minute. What's your final message for the people ahead of January the 6th?
January the 6th, tune in. You're gonna see blood, sweat, and tears. And the blood ain't gonna be coming from me.